You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
Do you need a car? Been shopping only to be turned down because of bad credit, low credit, no credit, bankruptcy, or divorce? Guess what? Today's your lucky day, because now you can buy a car, truck, or SUV, just about any vehicle. It's true. Bad credit doesn't matter. No credit doesn't matter. Bankruptcy or divorce, it just doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, your job is your ticket to your new vehicle. We're Auto Credit Express, and we've helped thousands of people just like you. Antonio H. told us, great company, got me connected, and the day I went in, I drove off in the car I wanted. 100% worth your time. Need a car? Get started now and drive off as early as today. Just text FINANCE, FINANCE, to 357-911 right now to get started. That's FINANCE, FINANCE, to 357-911. Auto financing the easy way. Text FINANCE to 357-911.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your health care while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
Pharmacy to sign up and start earning up to 50 extra bucks rewards on prescriptions. Terms and conditions apply. Not valid on all prescriptions, including those purchased in Arkansas, New Jersey, or New York. Other state restrictions apply. See cvs.com/RX rewards or the pharmacy for details.
It's a Subaru True Love sales event at Hudiburg Subaru. You're going to fall in love with the prices on these new Subarus. During the month of February, get new 2019 Subaru Crosstrek 2.0i 6MTs for just $22,789. Plus, it's all-wheel drive just for the Oklahoma weather. Or get a new 2019 Subaru Outback 2.5i CVT for just $26,507. These lovely prices are only during the True Love sales event. Plus, get complimentary maintenance included with every new Subaru you buy. Get your true love the best Valentine ever with a new Subaru from Hudiburg Subaru. Soon you'll say you love your Hudiburg Subaru too. Come see why more and more Oklahomans love to buy their Subarus from Hudiburg Subaru. Get it? It's love. Hudiburg Subaru is conveniently located on I-240 in Shields, or click HudiburgSubaru.com. That's HudiburgSubaru.com.
Crosstrek KRA01 Outback KDV01.
Talk Radio's new generation, 1520 KOKC.
You're listening to Rise Above Radio.
Follow the show at Rise Above KOKC. Be a part of Rise Above Radio at 405-478-1520 and 1-866-530-5662. It's time to rise above.
Hello and welcome into the show, Rise Above Radio, 95.3 FM, 1520 AM, KOKC in Oklahoma City. Also, you can catch us on the iHeart app, your Alexa device, KLRNradio.com. Thank you to Rick Roberts for picking up the show, man. I appreciate it. And then soon you'll be able to hear us down in the area of southeast Oklahoma and even some parts of southwest Arkansas, man. So very cool stuff. We got a guest that's on the phone today. This cat, man, I don't know from Adam, but I know his story, some of it. We're going to hear all of it today. But Gerald Mahoney joins us all the way from California, brother. I watched that video, man, and as I told you on the phone this morning, man, woo, you got one heck of a story, dude. You're a walking miracle, aren't you?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. It's been a long journey, yes.
Now, you and I, we have one thing in common. Well, I'm sure a couple of things in common, but one of the things is that alcohol was our drug of choice, man. And I talked to you on the phone earlier today about how, I had that hypocritical attitude, the addicted mentality of like, why would anybody ever want to take a handful of pills, or why would anybody want to put a needle in their arm or something up their nose? But I would drink like a fish the entire time, and it sort of seems like that was your deal, also, wasn't it?
Yes, exactly. It's funny that you say that. That's exactly what my thought process was. Is alcohol isn't as bad as me shooting something into my arm, or and that's how I rationalized it.
Right. Yeah. Well, we know addiction is the only kind of disease that'll try to convince you that you don't have one, man. Now, I want to. Exactly. How many days? Let me just hit it like this. Well, you know what we should do? Let's talk about what you're doing now, and then we'll backtrack it a little bit, brother. But because you actually just had some big news this last week, wasn't it?
Yes, sir. Actually, on February 14th, I finished my medical assisting program at San Joaquin Valley College.
Oh, man. Outstanding, dude. And then are you, so what's next? You do I'm going to get it totally wrong, but like an internship or something, or what?
My school calls it an externship.
Okay, right on.
And so I'll be going into a spinal surgical center And I'll be doing 160 hours of extern work there. And hopefully I get hired after that.
Yeah, man. Well, I'll tell you what, dude. You and I haven't met face-to-face or anything, and I just, from social media, I saw you post about your recovery, dude, and I connected, said, you got to come on the show, man. But I feel like I've made a brother for life, because this is going to change some lives. And what we try to do on the show is we want to inspire, not impress. We want to be effective, not famous. And I can't wait to hear what's going on with you. So let me just ask you this, and we'll get into the story. But what you went through, is that a reason why you were going into the spinal, that part of medicine?
I actually, the school kind of just sets you up, with an extern site, and
right.
You go in and you interview, and if you like it there, that's what you do. Right. And yes, I do really like. This is a very great starting point for me, because all these people are going to be coming in really scared about having spinal surgery, and I didn't have spinal surgery, but I have recently been through a lot of surgeries myself, so I know I can relate with them and just, hopefully just help keep them calm through the process.
Yeah. Well, man, how long were you in a coma? Let's start there. How many days?
13 days I was in a medically induced coma.
And how did, what's your story, brother? How did you get there, man?
Well, so it started on August 18th, 2017. Leading up before that, I hit rock bottom. I was drinking cheap vodka, pretty much anything I could get my hands on at that point.
Oh, sure, man. Yeah.
And I woke up on August 18th, and I felt something different. It wasn't like my normal hangover that I would normally have. This was something entirely different. Just from my stomach, I could feel like my organs were shutting down. And throughout that day, I was like, I'm just really hungover. I'm going to have my drink in the morning, and hopefully, that'll help settle my stomach.
Right.
My body just completely wouldn't allow anything in it. Water, nothing. As soon as the water or alcohol went down, it instantly came back up.
Right.
And that's when I knew something was wrong, when my body wouldn't even accept water at that point. So, knowing I didn't have much time, I was getting weaker and weaker, and, coming in and out of consciousness, I made the decision that I wasn't going to wait on an ambulance. So I got in my car, said a prayer, and, searched for the nearest hospital, which was about 6 miles away from me, but I had to get on the freeway. While driving there, I just remember being in the slow lane and, falling asleep and just praying to God, just keep me awake, just get me there, please don't make this an accident. And he got me there.
Right.
And
did you did you have any did you have a spiritual walk before that or anything?
I've always had a relationship with God.
Yeah.
Growing up, my grandmother always took me to Sunday school.
Sure.
I was involved in youth group, but nothing like this before.
Right.
I kind of lost my way with God, in my drinking days.
Yeah.
But towards the end, I did a lot of praying for him to help me.
Oh, yeah, man.
I knew something was wrong.
It's that surrender, man. Absolutely. So you're driving. So luckily, you were concerned. Did you feel like you were dying there in the car where you were driving, man? Did you feel like...
Oh yeah. I was looking in the mirror, and I've never seen my face so pale.
Yeah.
And I was just dripping sweat like I just came out of the shower.
Yeah.
I just knew, looking at myself, I was like, I do not have much time. I need to get help fast.
Yeah. So you made it there. You made it to the hospital. What happens next?
Yeah. And as soon as I walked in, the emergency room was packed, and I was really scared that maybe I wouldn't get seen right away. But the nurse, as I was walking up, I was falling into the walls, and she ran around the desk and got me a wheelchair and instantly wheeled me in.
Wow.
And I started to tell her, hey, I have a drinking problem. I think I might be going through some kind of a withdrawal because I can't even hold liquor down. And she was like, yes, this is very serious. You could die from withdrawal alone.
Yeah.
And I don't remember much after that. I remember telling her, because she kept coming in and out of the room, I told her, please don't leave me. I think I'm going to die. Mm-hmm. And that was the last words I remember speaking and I haven't, and still to this day, I want to go back to the hospital and find out what happened. Like, I'm not sure if I, just passed out myself or if they put me in the coma. I still have a lot of answers, or questions I need answered.
Did you, when you went to the hospital, was it, if you could remember when you said I have a drinking problem and everything, how were you received? Was there compassion and stuff, or was it?
Complete compassion.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I was actually really surprised. Yeah, I thought, they're going to look at me as just an addict, and they're not going to take it serious. She took it super serious.
Wow, man.
And that was a blessing.
Wow, unbelievable. That's awesome. So you, the question is, did you pass out or lose consciousness, or did they medically induce you? This time, were you in a bed already? And
I was in a room, in the emergency room, and I was dry. They were like, try to drink some water, and I'm like, I'm going to just throw it up. And I was just sitting there dry heaving and falling over, and they finally laid me down. And I don't remember anything after that.
Right. So, and now you and I on the phone, man. What do you remember from being in a medically induced coma for almost 2 weeks? Right? What do you say? 13 days?
Yeah.
You remember from being? Explain it, because I was like, what?
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember everything. And it, I don't want to scare anyone, but it was nothing like I've ever heard before. It was one big nightmare that I couldn't escape from. I remember at one point, like when you're in a nightmare and you're in that nightmare, you could, close your eyes or pinch yourself awake.
Yeah.
And I would actually try to do that, but I would either open my eyes and just still be right in that nightmare with the people still coming after me, or I would restart the nightmare and go back through everything. And it was the same nightmare, and it was just one constant me running for my life and constantly, running from people trying to, torture me. It was the scariest thing I've ever experienced in my life. And at one point, I did think, I had died and this was hell.
Right.
And I just at that point tried to accept it and just fight my way through as long as I could, and just see what would happen.
Yeah. It's Rise Above Radio on 95.3 FM, 1520 AM, KOKC here in Oklahoma City. We're on Facebook Live. You can go to KOKC Radio, as well as many other platforms that we're able to share this on. Gerald Mahoney joins me, and he's calling in from California talking about his story. And, man, the pictures, the video of your transformation and everything, I told you I sent it to a buddy of mine, and he is like, that is something I've never seen anything like it before. He's got 30 years of sobriety, man. He's been doing this stuff for a long time, and he's like, this guy's a walking miracle. And so the pictures also, man, like I'm showing it on the Facebook Live right now, and on the live video we have the photo, your before and after, man. The before, obviously, when you're because you had you had a procedure. And then you had a second time. I know I'm kind of jumping down a rabbit hole, but so you were in the coma. When you got out of the coma, you had to go back. Actually, start there when you get out and you wake up, and then but you had some complications and you had to go back, didn't you?
Oh yeah. So after I woke up, I couldn't move. I couldn't move my hands. I couldn't. I had a breathing tube in, and for 6 days I hallucinated. And we could talk about that more later if you'd like. Yeah. But after I got out of ICU, they actually just sent me home, and they were like, okay, if you end up getting a fever, or if you start feeling really sick, come back to the emergency room. So
what'd they diagnose you? What'd they diagnose you with? Anything?
Acute pancreatitis.
Was it led on by the drinking? What did they say, or did they?
Yeah,
okay.
It was directly the main cause was the drinking. But there's something that I also need to look into, because 3 months before I went into my coma, I actually had major knee surgery done, and not once do I remember the doctors doing. I was 260 pounds, and I was looking really unhealthy. I don't remember them ever testing my blood or checking to see if there was anything wrong.
Right. Yeah.
They basically just did the surgery and they're like, oh, he's young. He should be fine.
Right. Yeah.
So Wow. And so, the pancreatitis, I'm now type 1 diabetic because of it, without my pancreas working. So I'm now insulin dependent on that.
Yeah, I know somebody that was just diagnosed with that. Yeah, man, same boat you're in. Yeah.
But going back, after I was at home for about 6 days, and I noticed that I was starting to get really warm, and just happened to check my temperature, and it was 103. So my mother rushed me back to the emergency room in Modesto, where I've been staying with her, because it's right next to my hospital. And they had to get an ambulance and send me back to Sacramento to my original hospital that was taking care of me. And that's when they were like, all right, we're going to have to do surgery now. We're going to have to go in and take out part of your pancreas. And that's when I spent close to a little over 2 months in the hospital after that.
What was going through? I mean, where were you at mentally with that, man? I mean, did you? Here we go again, or were you still just sort of in a funk the whole time with it, or?
I was in a funk the whole time, from like what my friend said and what my mother said. The lights were on, but no one was home, is what they would say.
I got you. Yeah.
Basically, I was just in this haze, and I was coming off of so many drugs that they used to sedate me.
Yeah.
They had me so heavily sedated, and that was another thing. I was forcing myself awake out of the coma, and the doctors were like, "Does he do meth or because no one wakes up the way he's waking up?" And that was me fighting.
Right. So they're like, his body is not
coma.
Yeah, they're like, his body's not responding to the drugs the way they normally do. This guy must be doing some hard stuff because you keep waking up. Is that what? Okay. Yeah. Wow, man. And then so when were the hallucinations? Was that prior to the second trip to the hospital, or was that after, when they went in and kind of shaved off some of your pancreas? I guess is basically if that's right, what they did. You still have one, correct? I mean, I don't think you can live with that one. I don't know.
As far as I know, that there's part of it in there.
Yeah.
But when I talked to the doctor, she described it as black cottage cheese, as what she was pulling out. It was like coming through her fingers, and it was just toxic. My pancreas was eating itself.
Yeah. Well, and somebody might be like, that's disgusting, but man, this show is to try to. How long did you run it pretty hard, man? How long was your drinking career?
I would say obviously, it probably started around 14 or 15, like most teenagers.
Yeah.
But it didn't really pick up speed until after I turned 21.
Right. Yeah, because it's
able to go to bars.
Right. That's a rite of passage. We're 21. We have to be complete idiots and ruin our. Yeah, I totally do. That was for me. It was like, now I'm 21. I've arrived, and then so
exactly.
Well, so the nurse described to you that they took out quite honestly, a mess of your organ there, the pancreas, right? And then So how long was that stay? You say it was 40-something days?
Yeah. Everything. So from start to finish, August 18th was my first day going in. I didn't leave the hospital until like mid-November.
Yeah.
Till everything was said and done. After all the surgeries were all done.
Wow, man. It's Gerald Mahoney joining us from California, calling into Rise Above Radio, sharing his story. The video, I'll post it up on the KOKC radio page, but the videos, when you sent it to me, bro, I mean, I was like, I had to take a step back and grab a tissue, man. It's very inspirational, and there's a part where you're trying to get off of the bed, and people are trying to coach you to stand up on your own, and it looks very challenging, obviously, but somebody says that you know how to do this. You were a trainer, so you had some experience being a trainer in the past and all that too. So you kind of, did you have any idea what your body was going through, man, or was this just completely? Is this did you realize then? Okay, now my drinking almost killed me. Now we have a problem. Had you ever been to treatment before?
No, I had tried to reach out a couple times. I told my friends, how bad my drinking was getting.
Yeah.
And, I was really on my own. I was too scared to tell my family how bad my drinking had gotten. So I basically just did it alone. And I called suicide hotlines and I called rehab centers. I wasn't suicidal. I was just looking for someone to talk to that didn't know me.
Yeah, just reaching.
Anyone that would listen.
Just reaching out. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so
but,
go ahead.
the hallucination, that started the day I woke up from the coma. For 6 days, I stayed awake and just night and day hallucinated horrific, torturing things. Like in the video, like you said, of me sitting up, I had the breathing tube in, and I couldn't tell my dad that it felt like my hips were dislocating. It was so painful for them to sit me up like that, but they were forcing me to do it, but I couldn't tell anyone how bad it was hurting me.
Wow, man.
And just had to go, just had to do it, and with the, I just had to go through that.
Man, in the video it looks like it. I mean, I was trying to imagine what it would be like. And you were a big dude. You said it yourself, brother. I was just, so it looks like it's challenging anyway. And then to know what was going on, man. So how long after 45 days in the hospital, man? What happens next? How was your body recovering?
It was an insane process. After I got home officially, thank God for my mother. She was such a blessing. She, would come in every day, and would rub my legs down because I had really bad nerve damage in my legs from the diabetes, and I couldn't get out of bed. So for about up until January 1st, a little over a month, I basically just laid in bed and was on all kind of medication, and my hair was falling out in clumps.
Wow.
Like I would run my fingers through my hair, and just handfuls of hair were coming out. And I remember just laying there crying that, this was it. My hair's falling out. I had dropped 100 pounds in less than 2 months.
Yeah. Why was your hair falling out? Just a result of what was
I
that?
think it was a lot to do with the medications that I was on,
right.
Because I was on so many. That's the only thing I could think of, other than, possibly just completely stressed out,
Yeah.
I had a lot of time to just lay there and think of all the bad things that, that I did and that I went through. And, I was reliving all my nightmares, for a long time. It was really, really difficult.
Let me ask you this, man. Were you mad at God at all during this time?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I thanked him when I finally came to, and I was able to think a little bit for myself. He answered my prayers.
Right.
I begged him for a way out because I knew I couldn't stop drinking alone. And thank God that it's one of the worst things that could have happened, but I thank God that I didn't kill anyone drinking and driving.
Right.
It could have been so much worse.
Yeah, right. It's wild to have, despair in moments like that. Despair is truly like a blessing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard to process and comprehend what it means, but when you have that peace and that total serenity in the darkest moments, man. I'm glad you're talking about that too, because there's a men's treatment place here in town, and I do know that they actually are able to listen to the show, and there's a lot of that really touches the point is about your relationship with God. You weren't mad at God, and you finally were asking for a way out, man. But the thing is, look at it on the other side now. Rock bottom doesn't have to be the same for everybody else, but there is a better way, man. And that's why when I'm talking to people. It's already out there, man. It belongs to you. Your name is stamped all over it. You just don't see it right now. You just don't see it. It's hard to comprehend being able to live without drinking and everything, or drugging or whatever it is, throwing a coin in a slot machine, whatever it is. But recovery does happen. And Gerald, you are the version of it, man. You're a walking miracle. So you get home, and then obviously you got to recover from having the procedure. Where did they cut you? Where's your incision? Like right up the middle?
Oh, yeah. They got me from the top of my sternum all the way past my belly button.
Yeah.
There was 24 staples, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And the healing process, it got really messed up. Something happened, and they didn't put enough staples in right around my belly button. And so when they pulled the staples out, it wasn't the cut wasn't fully healed yet. And it actually started to split back open. And for about 3 months, I dealt with it reopening and just like blood and pus and stuff oozing out on a constant basis. and the doctors didn't do anything about it. They were like, oh, maybe we could stitch you back up, and I'm just like, well,
seriously, man,
can we do something?
Right. I would think that out of one of the biggest concerns as far as an incision goes, it's not a paper cut. You had staples removed. If there's any slight, looks like it might still be open, you probably want to get that closed there pretty quick. Right, Harry? Right? So I would say so. Probably that's important. So did you get?
I asked them, and they just didn't do it. It was crazy. I literally went home, and they just didn't do it.
Well, that's a whole nother. Did you get infection from that? Because you can get MRSA and all kinds of stuff from that.
Me and my mother were on top of it.
Yeah.
We were cleaning and changing my gauze pads, every couple hours.
Right.
But I was also taking care of a drain that was put in. I had a tube going into the side of my stomach that was still pumping out toxic stuff from my pancreas.
Man. Oh, because it was still
that I had to go home with.
Yeah. What did
that was tough.
Oh, I'm sure, man. So what was it? Just helping make your pancreas keep operating, or was it still kind of detoxifying your body and everything too?
On the Sooner Sports Network from Learfield IMG College, this is Oklahoma Sooner Women's Basketball, brought to you by AT&T. More for your thing. That's our thing. Brahms Ice Cream and Dairy Stores, farm fresh for 50 years. Bud Light, game day's favorite light lager. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling. Mercy, your life is our life's work. MidFirst Bank, exclusive home of the OU Visa debit and credit card. OU Medicine, leading healthcare. And by Red Carpet Charters, the official motor coach carrier of OU Athletics. This is Oklahoma Sooner Women's Basketball. Now to courtside. Here's Brian Brinkley.
Oklahoma fell short in its last regular season game against a ranked opponent and lost for the first time on field trip day. Now the Sooners take their own trip to face a team on the rise in a place that has not been easy for OU to win. Good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of Oklahoma Women's Basketball. I'm Brian Brinkley, live from WVU Coliseum on the campus of West Virginia University in Morgantown, where today the Sooners face the West Virginia Mountaineers. Sooners were looking to score their first upset of a ranked team last Wednesday against Iowa State, and midway through the second quarter, the game was tied at 29. But the